Well, may not be able to see it because I can't see through the lens of this, but we're going to go ahead anyway. I'm going to use some light, kind of a cobalty color for the sky. A lot of water, and I want to leave some areas where I'm going to be doing some of the palm trees a little bit. So just a little water, not too much, and letting the natural path of the water work for me a little bit. Hoping I can get you and paint at the same time. Remember, these are quick sketches, so we work with the things that don't work.
Well, or at least call her and say, can you please send over that stuff?
A little touch of water, a little bit of paint. And again, it's pretty overcast today, so we're going to have to put our own Hawaiian sunshine in. And we're leaving spaces for cloud cover, as you can see. Loving this big brush, coming down to the water here. And the nice part about this is that I can also use a little of that paper towel and blot out any extra clouds if I'd like. And I can leave that now and come back to it later if I need to add any more sky in. Believe it or not. Then I'm going to come in for a little bit of the sky and the water right now is kind of very similar. It's very grayed out. So if you want to gray out blue, you want to add a tiny bit of red to it. A little bit of the crimson red would be good. That way you don't lose all your blue. A lot of the time we think we should add black. But all you got to do is add that little bit of red and see how it really adds a little warmth to it, but also grays it down a smidge. And we're not working with any resist at the moment, so we're going to have to try to leave a little white. We have to actually think, and it's Sunday morning, and I don't want to think, but we're going to do that. So as we're coming closer to the shore, I'm adding a little green to that. Adding a little shadow in underneath where the rocks are. I'm going to kind of just call that there before I'm going to put a little sand in. Yellow ochre, yellow, and a lot of water. Perhaps some colour would be good. Here we go. Didn't get all that colour in. There we go. As it hits up against your blue, you probably get a little extra green going on here too, so you can sort of use that to your advantage as well. It's very soft, but I want to put, there is a lot of deep reflection.
Benjamin.
Deep reflection, not as in philosophically, of course, but more in the vein of the paint. So I'm just going to drop some little tiny little bits in it. I'm putting wet on wet, so as you can see it's softly adding itself into the colour that's already there. And then a lot of that kind of comes up into here. We're in a little bay, so it's going to reflect a lot of what's around it. Oh, there's some blue. How about that? Let's move that around real quick. And when you're doing these little snapshots, you don't want to try to be too detail oriented, because they're little snapshots. Kind of, it's contained in the word. But if you really want to get detailed, then take photos as well, and you can work on a bigger piece or a more detailed piece later. Unless you have the time to really do it. I don't know if you can see it that well. Okay, so we're dealing with black lava, which I'm going to do purplish. And so I'm using a very deep blue and crimson. And again, just a bit of a snapshot. As you can see, it's trying not to get it to bleed into La Ocean. Too much.
What do they recommend for that time to
And this is not as wet as what I used for the
be? Does 10:30 sound
sky.
same for you guys?
So I think I'll just leave it like that. That little bit of bleed through there might just control that a bit.
Are you talking about the
A
whale?
bit of a paper towel, dry it up, and I can come back later on that.
Helicopter you'd have to do tomorrow.
And then we have a little bit of lava going on the other side.
Right?
So a little bit softer though, same color but a little bit more water.
Where do we book that? So where do you look to see?
Oh good.
Wasn't that amazing?
Yeah, did you see the yellow fish?
Well, a lot of the yellow ones, but there were others.
Yeah.
We've been snorkeling a little bit this morning.
Should I return this now? Has it been an hour?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's
I should
close to
pay
an hour.
extra.
No. No, it should be, you should be
Less-
cool.
Okay.
That's my point. Is if
Was
we get it
this-
back now, we can...
Do I have to say the name?
Not if you don't want to.
Just return.
What did you do? Did you just return it, or did you say your name, Christine?
They that shall not be named.
Yes.
I didn't say my name. No.
Otherwise, just...
Numbers? How do they know anything? Oh yeah, they do.
Claire, is it that you want to
They'll just yes, they'll know by the snorkel and everything.
You sure that's the one?
So I'm going to drop these in.
There's a
But I want them to
There's
fade
the
off a
big
little
one,
bit.
Spectacular. There's the
So I'm going to give them a few seconds to start drying,
Circle of Fire plus waterfall.
and then
It's approximately
Kind of-
50 minutes.
Okay. You could probably do that same day.
There's A-Star and
again just a real soft, softening it a little bit with paper towel. Boom, boom, boom. And now for the shrubbery. The shrubbery. I'm going to take my green and warm it up with a little bit of the lighter red.
Yes.
Kind of just dropping that in.
Like a different thing, right? So there's also what they do. Hopefully by the time it comes out, I don't have a reservation. Who's cooking with me?
And don't be afraid to mix a few little things in there with the red, with the green, just
We're
because.
watching the same day
I was going to do that.
because I'm trying to do it for Tuesday.
First thing in the morning.
Well, they want to do whale watching in the morning. So unless we do like super early morning,
I'm gonna hover.
I'm fine doing it whenever it makes sense.
Oh.
Like I make preference on everything.
yeah, and it'd be 3 of us.
I think you and I wanted to do two.
So we're implying things here. We're not trying to get every needle in.
I'm assuming that we.
No.
Yeah. Did you see the five?
You need a reservation.
I don't know. Do you want to go see?
Yeah, I'll go.
Going light first. Put all those light pieces in.
Yeah.
Okay, so no. I don't think Dad is going to do it. I don't know if Dad is going to do it.
And now going in a little darker.
Well, all they're saying the timing is that it's morning and evening departure time.
I don't know how late the evening one is, but there's no too late. Well, if you can call them later and just figure it out. I'm not worried about it. I feel like it'll be relatively easy. Are you going to golf tomorrow? I don't know if I would say golf also, that would be just cute.
We booked 4 people for both days, and you can just have whoever goes goes.
I'm fine
We
with
have some pre-food.
I'm fine with both. I figured that would be my exercise really quick. I don't want to do like a ton of stuff. I figured walking and golfing isn't much too bad, especially during sport. I just get rid of golf. I just don't have any clothes for it. So I have to buy some things. I know. You could do that, let me.
Yeek! Some dribbles. I dribbled.
Uh-oh.
Yes. Well, I'm on an angle, so sorry about if I've been failing to show you what I'm doing here. So I can come back in on those dribbles and correct them a little bit. And then we'll lean over here and borrow some paint. Put a little hut in.
11 a.m. Which one for soup?
Oh, good. Oh, so only half an hour. Good job. Thanks, Mike. That was very valuable information.
Instead of DRC. Where's the bathroom?
There is one up there.
Yeah.
Just mix it.
Putting a little blue in to the brown to deepen it. Little hut kind of thing. And then
This is so cute.
kind of put some little extra green now that that green has dried up a little bit. Kind of intensify it. With watercolor you can intensify it. Let it dry for a little snippet. And then add your greens back in, or you're intensifying the colors elsewhere. And that is that.